desires but act not breeds pestilence. So it is written.
We have a music video, and if you find that music video online, there are going to be certain little hints in there, little Easter eggs about the topic.
Awesome.
About the third are you?
Well, you know, I mean, I have to say it.
I have no name, I am but 2 days old. What shall I call thee? I happy am, joy is my name. Sweet joy before thee. Pretty joy, sweet joy, but 2 days old. Sweet joy, I call thee. Thou dost smile, I sing thee while. Sweet joy, before thee. In seed time learn, in harvest teach, in winter enjoy. Drive your cart and your plough over the bones of the dead. The road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom. Prudence is a rich, ugly old maid, courted by incapacity. He who desires but acts not breathes pestilence. The cut worm forgives the plough, dip him in the river who loves water. A fool sees not the same tree that a wise man sees. He whose face gives no light shall never become a star. Eternity is in love with the productions of time. The busy bee has no time for sorrow. The hours of folly are measured by the clock, but of wisdom no clock can measure. All wholesome food is caught without a net or trap. Bring out number, weight, and measure in a year of dearth. No bird soars too high if it soars with his own wings. A dead body revenges not injuries. The most sublime act is to set another before you. If the fool would persist in his folly, he would become wise. Folly is the cloak of Kanavi. Shame is pride's cloak. Hey, it's ReZoura. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. I hope this is very helpful. And definitely, I hope to uncover the truth behind V's intentions. So I am going to break down all of the segments, the meaning of the verses. So this is what we're going to talk about. We also have a villain who is leaving an easy path to walk a more dangerous road. In doing so, he is also pushing our just man towards a deliberate area, which means Nero. He's the one who's being pushed, where the just fella starts to rage out. The section concludes with an announcement: a new heaven is beginning, kind like a grand opening. Then it sets forth a few points that seem to keep worth mentioning. There is no progress without contradiction, and being good means passively obeying, while being evil means being active with energy. This next part actually is very interesting. So it says the next section is the voice of the devil, which we imagine is a cross between the two protagonists. And then, this section gives us a list of errors which the speaker blames on the Bible and other scared codes. Essentially, the gist is that the notion that the body is separate from the soul is a bunch of bunk. The body and the soul are actually one. So we all know that in the Easter eggs in Devil Trigger that he says, I have no name, And now in the new Os for Dante, we have them telling us that he's not only a person with no name, but he is newly born. He's like he's been reborn, and he's only 2 days old. One of the verses especially was from the part that I definitely love the most, is what I was just reading, the Proverbs of Hell. The devil follows his desire, which to our speaker makes him the Messiah. The speaker gives props to the militia for his betrayal. Our next section is entitled A Memorable Fancy. It is basically a trivialogue of our speaker's trip to hell, which leads to the next section, Proverbs of Hell. Here the speaker lists a whole sleet of short sayings that he picked up while he was in hell, like sooner murder an infant in its credible than nurse untradicted desires. The speaker then goes to mention giants who form the earth. He makes a distinction between a group of people called the prolific and another group called the devouring. The prolific are the creative folks who gain energy from the following temptations, which then devour a tame, obedient, and oppressed. These groups should be enemies with one another, says our speaker. So these enemies are essentially the giant and everyone else trying to become the new king of hell. And we all know that the fruit, that is what they are essentially fighting for, that is the main objective. This next part basically is for V. So without contraries is no progression, attraction and repulsion. Reason and energy, love and hate are necessary to human existence. This seems important. What we think of as opposites are actually both vital to being human, says the speaker. So they are both human. It says one is human and the other actually isn't. So internally there is conflict between whatever there is going on with V. So it can be him having something inside him, or it could be him essentially being evil, but trying, or once being good, but actually being evil. The next part of the segment is directed toward Virgil and V as one, because they both have this problem. These are the errors of the person and the soul. Body and soul are separate things. Evil comes from the body and reason comes from the soul. God will punish all humanity for following evil. All that is totally bunk, according to the speaker instead. The body and soul are one and are the same. Energy is the only life, and is from the body. The body is what gives us our energy, so it's not truly evil. Also, reasoning is what puts the brakes on our pursuits of energy. Energy is internal, delight. The next part is, those who restrain desire. If you do that, it's only because your desire wasn't strong enough in the first place. When this happens, reason takes over and runs everything. What's to expect of us? The force of reason that's in charge is called the Messiah. The Messiah is actually Satan. From the pro-God point of view, the fallen Satan was reason for kicking desire out of heaven. But our speaker sees that as Satan rebuilding his own heaven down below, which is now what the apocalypse, every single game we've seen in Devil May Cry 5, we've seen in Devil May Cry 4, every single Devil May Cry game, someone's always trying to reopen the gates of hell and making some kind of new world, a new world order. That's what it's always been about. That's always the objective here. And Virgil's objective initially was to become Sparta, be powerful, rule over the hell, and being king of everything. Thus, being the fall of his mother and being not able to protect her, he became so upset and had so much hatred in his heart. Well, this actually wraps up everything for the entire video. Both segments of V and Virgil being different. It's just all of it ties in together, if it makes sense. Yeah, give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I hope I've helped you. I hope this was educating in some kind of way. Bye. It's been ReZoura, guys. See you next time.